Hello, welcome to The Voice of Nursing. My name is Adrian Tracy. I'm the CEO of ICG Medical. Today at The Voice of Nursing we are joined by Dr. Umesh Prabhu, former medical director of 2 separate trusts and now an advisor to Simon Stevens in the NHS. Welcome, Doctor.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
We're delighted to have you. Maybe good for our members or our podcast people, give us a bit of your background, tell us a little bit about your involvement with the NHS and your involvement with nurses.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Umesh Prabhu. I was a paediatrician and I love NHS. I'm very passionate about patient safety and the quality. And I was trained in India and I didn't want to come to UK. I didn't want to be a doctor actually. I wanted to be a businessman. But there's a big story behind it. I did my undergraduates in India and my friend was in Hartlepool. And he said, why don't you come to UK? So I came here in 1982. I had an amazing career and I developed interest in patient safety after my own mistake in 1992 when a 6-week-old baby developed brain damage. Today I would have been suspended. Today I would have been dismissed. But I started learning lessons. I took an interest why doctors make mistakes. I've given 300 lectures. And I've given opinion on 22 children who have died and not even one should have died. When Simon Stevens took me to meet the Queen, I told him, Simon, don't even think of stopping making NHS safest and the best. Because their mother's pain drives me to do what I'm doing. So I became a doctor to make a fellow human being better. For me, being a doctor, being a leader is nothing but serving the community. So in Wrightington, Wigan Leigh Foundation Trust, I went there as a medical director in 2010 and we reduced harm by 90%. I didn't do it. It is the wonderful staff. And nursing staff played a huge role. I owe a lot. I think NHS owes a lot to the nursing staff. NHS owes a lot to its amazing staff. What we got to do is we got to transform the culture of bullying, culture of discrimination, and make it one of the great institutes by bringing a culture of kindness, compassion, caring staff. Happy staff, happy patient.
Very good. So talk us a little bit about your interaction with nurses over the years and maybe some, I dare say you have a story or two to tell us.
I can tell you a lot of stories. My first interaction was within a week of coming from India. When, in India, please and thank you is a formal language. So I never used to say please and thank you. And her name was Dorothy, one of the hard-working nurses. Within a week she told me, you are very rude, Dr. Prabhu. I was shocked. I was very hesitant. My English was pretty bad. I had a lot of fillers, So, and she told me one day, and I was shocked. And I asked her why. She said, you don't say please and thank you. Now my wife thinks I'm a wonderful husband because I say please and thank you. It's all about when you're in a Rome, be a Roman. And I've now trained 700 overseas doctors in communication skills. The 14 things you do. My second nurses is, I learned a lot about compassion and caring from the nurses. Doctors, as a consultant, you just come and see patients, give advice, do what wrong, you move on. Because you've got theatres, you've got clinics, you are very busy. Whereas nurses are there with the patient round the clock. And I learned a lot about compassion, kindness, caring from the nurses. If I had my way, I would make nurses independent practitioners. I would completely transform the way NHS is run. Today, NHS is completely medically dominated. And we got to. Leadership is very simple. This is empowering yourself and empowering everyone, those who think they don't have a voice. It is about being the voice of our patient. It is about being the voice of those who don't speak up and empowering them. If I have my way, I would definitely empower nursing staff, use the skill mix and transform entirely NHS and make it safest and the best and reduce the cost.
Sounds good. What do you sort of see as the biggest challenges in the NHS at the moment? I know we spoke off camera about some of the bullying challenges in the environment.
The biggest challenge in NHS is many. NHS has got many challenges. Let me tell you, NHS has been very successful. Each year, 360 million patients are seen by 1.3 million staff. Each 36 hours, 1 million patients are seen by general practitioners. For vast majority, they get fantastic care. Last year I had sepsis. I had 4 cancers suspected. And in 2 hours they would have found my dead body. And I received a fantastic treatment. I met 46 staff. Each and every one was very polite. That is our NHS. Let's not forget that. Mm-hmm. But NHS culture has been changing. I've been watching it for a long time. NHS reflects society. Today there is a culture of bullying. There is culture of discrimination. There is culture of racism. When I talk of racism, many people think I talk about white against black and ethnic minority. That is not true. I have seen every form of discrimination. And that is what is wrong. But Mahatma Gandhi was a great leader. He says humanity is an ocean. Few dirty drops do not make ocean dirty. Vast majority of people come to work to do a good job. And that we should never forget. That is what we did in Wigan. All I did was, I told them, let's put the patient at the heart of everything we do. It is they who matter, not me, not you. It's not Jeremy Hunt. It's about patients at the end of the day. One day we will all be patients of our NHS. It's our collective responsibility to make sure NHS goes from strength to strength. So biggest challenge at present we have is culture. Cultural clash, culture of bullying. Number 2, shortage of staff, shortage of doctors, shortage of nurses. I've been telling for 15 years to BMA, GMC, everywhere. I've been watching it. Leader lives in the future. What we do is we look at the past glory. Past teaches us, future makes us. So at present challenge is number 1 is culture. Number 2, acute shortage of doctors and nurses. Today doctors and nurses are fed up. I get phone call from every consultant. Now I don't work in Wigan because I've been to India to get doctors. I get phone call from the Wigan consultant. The rota gap is huge. And we should have planned for it for a long time ago. Number 3, we waste 20 billion pounds out of 129 billion we spend on NHS. Waste is not the right word, but we can save it. Digital transformation will save us probably 7 to 8 billion pounds. But it must be good digital transformation because already NHS has wasted probably 30 billion in last few years on digital transformation. That is the amount of money because not having good digital system, we have wasted a lot of money. I went to Kaiser Permanente. United States spends 17% of GDP today. 40 million people do not have a decent health care. Whereas we spend only 8.5% and 90% of the people get fantastic health care. Let us be proud of our NHS. But United States spent, Kaiser Permanente, I went there, 4 billion pound on IT last 10 years. Whereas in India, I went and saw, for 100 million, they can do a fantastic IT. I was amazed. I come from India. My values come from my grandma. I was brought up by my grandma. She told me when I was 6 years old, always be honest, always be sincere. See good in others, do good to others. Focus only on you. Keep on learning. One day you'll be somebody. Lastly, she said, when you're doing something right, don't be afraid of anybody. Courage. She was Mahatma Gandhi's follower. I come from a very poor background. So that's the reason why. In India now, I was amazed how far India has gone. Let me give an example. There's a hospital in Bangalore known as Narayana Health. Each day they operate on 500 patients with cataract. Each month they do 700 major cardiac operations. Each day they do 35 major heart operations on children. 69 countries send patients to this hospital known as Narayana Health, Dr. Devi Shetty. Google it. And that is what we need. Indian values, Indian workforce, Indian IT. But most important, no more brain drain. India needs these doctors back. India needs these nurses back. But we can bring them here, take their help, train them NHS values. If you ask me, I would love to export NHS values throughout the world. It is the best way to look after patient. Good teamwork, respect for each other, putting the patient at the heart. And nobody pays the money upfront. In India, if I practice, I have to think how much I can charge for a poor patient. 80% practice in India is paid by the patient. Today here, I need not worry about it. I've treated hundreds of patients with meningitis. I can give the best treatment for any patient. That is what I'm so proud of NHS. Our biggest challenge is culture. Our biggest challenge is how we are going to transform health and social care together, because without that we will not survive. And the best way to do it is use the skill mix, change the culture, digital transformation. But for all of these, we've got to transform the culture.
You spoke about a 10-point plan that you had in regards to some of the cultural changes and some of the bullying in the workplace. I know you're very passionate about that. It'd be good to maybe share that with our nursing community.
Let me tell you, bullying destroys human beings. 27 doctors have committed suicide, 84 doctors have died within a year of referral to GHC. 400 overseas trained doctors have contacted. 3 have committed suicide. I myself was bullied a couple of years ago. Even I went to commit suicide. Because bullying destroys your soul. It destroys your self-confidence. I can tell you, one staff there was bullied by a clinical director. She cried for 2.5 hours. So bullying has absolutely no place in kind, caring, compassionate NHS. To get rid of bullying, you got number one, empower your staff. I used to send nice email to our staff every week, every 2 weeks. But they come to do a hard job. We got to create positive energy. NHS has got a lot of negative energy. So number one is create positive energy. Number two, give confidence to your staff. They can come and see anybody in the senior position. As a medical director, I was in a position of authority. With authority, you got responsibility, you got accountability. So number two, empower your staff. Number three, you have a clear policy and procedure. Number four, tell the staff, bullying is absolutely no-go area. Number six, deal with the bullying. It is not getting rid of bullies. It is getting rid of bullying is what is important. We are two consultants. Everybody thought they were bullying, but both had autism. Nobody had diagnosed. My interest is autism in children. The moment I went and saw them, I realized both of them needed help. I always said, my job as a medical director is not to sack anybody. My job is to protect the patient. That is non-negotiable. So bullying has absolutely no place. So what we did was, number one, we made it very clear to all the staff whom they can come and see. We always said bullying is absolutely no-go area, no place for discrimination. We are going to appoint people only on merit, and that is how we transform the trust. When somebody makes allegation of bullying, I usually first time give the feedback nicely to the consultant. First time I tell them, I'll tell you nicely, but when I tell you, I always send an email as a documentation. But after the third episode, I made it very formal. And most of them needed help. Some of them were very stressed with the workload. Some of them, doctors care for patient too much. During that, they forget to care for their own colleagues. What we got to do is, we got to give them feedback early. In Wigan, that is all I introduced. 80% of consultants never gave me any headache. Day in and day out, they work hard. 19% of consultants need the feedback, help, support, guidance, occupational health reference, all those things. Only 1 to 2% you have to sign. And usually dismissal is mainly for serious misconduct, sexual molestation of patients, drinking alcohol while on duty, stealing drugs. But I had to deal with at least 20% of consultants over the last 6 years, and they all changed their behavior. Only 1% had to dismiss.
It's not a bad result. And you know, you've looked at your 10-point plan. You're doing some work with Simon Stevens. I know you've met the Queen, and I know you've got a big thing about leadership and management. It'd be good to understand your views on that. It's been a former medical director
That's
as well.
That's a very good question. I didn't know what leadership was when I was medical director of Berry. I was managing doctors. I was calling myself a leader, but my meetings were very firefighting. My language was dreadful. Then I gave opinion on 22 children who have died in this country. Not even one should have died. And I would like to tell the story of Fatima. Fatima was a beautiful 7-year-old girl somewhere in the country. I was a national advisor for healthcare commissioner at that time. I got a file on a Friday. 7-year-old child died. You know, as a pediatrician, one preventable death is too many, and I've given opinion on 22 children who have died. So this particular child, mother speaks very good English. She goes and tells to GP that my daughter has 3 weeks history of fever, loss of weight, loss of appetite. As a pediatrician, with that one sentence, I could tell you it is TB. It was an Asian child. But he doesn't think of it. He gives her amoxicillin, sends her home. 1 week later, his partner changes it to erythromycin, sends her home. 3 days later, mother says GPs are no good. So she goes to a teaching hospital. Seen by a fantastic doctor, writes beautifully. She says, need admission, need urgent investigation. Unfortunately, was overruled by registrar. She was sent home. Fatima becomes unconscious 1 week later, gets admitted to intensive care, and gets admitted to intensive care, coughs blood for 46 days, and dies holding mother's hand. Imagine what that mother must have gone through. But what really shocked me, 3 experts were trying to cover it up. GMC expert, the trust expert. I was shocked. That was the 22nd child. It was a Friday. I told my wife, enough is enough. How many more children have to die before I do anything? And I was crying myself. I talked to my grandma a lot, who brought me in. So I was asking a question, what do I do? How many more children have to die? At the end of 1 hour, I got an answer. Why don't you go somewhere and show how to do it? Then I had a huge experience. I was been a National Patient Safety Agency board member, NCAS advisor for the whole country. I've given advice to 300 medical directors. I've trained barristers on regulation and everything. I've been GMC advisor on black and ethnic minority doctors issue for more than 10 years. And 400 doctors have contacted me. So I got huge experience, went to Wigan, and trust board was absolutely amazing. Chief executive was brilliant, and chairman was brilliant, and we all worked together and completely transformed the trust. So all we did was transform the culture of bullying into kind, caring, compassionate culture. It's not a rocket science. It's like anything. Once you know how to do it, it sounds simple. All I did was appointed very good leader to each department who is a kind, caring, compassionate. And who helped me to identify them? Nursing staff. I'll come back to that because I asked the nurses, who is a kind consultant? Who is a nice human being? Who is a good team player? And whom do you want to see as a leader? I asked the same question to nurses, same question to junior doctors, same question to GPs. Same name scheme. In the whole of surgical division, out of 42 or 50 consultants, only 2 name scheme. Because we don't teach doctors to be leaders. Doctors are very intelligent. They are extremely bright people. Bright people, they got their own personalities. Entrenched behavior of intelligent people. That is the most dangerous for humanity. They are very bright. But with that, they got their own personality. Ego comes in the way. And if you want to be a leader, you have to let your ego go. Number 2, arrogance comes in the way. Number 3, jealousy comes in the way. I was shocked. Impact of private practice on interrelation of the consultants. So all we did was appointed right people, put the right governance in place, but we made some ground rule. Happy staff, happy patient. Patient safety is non-negotiable. Anybody can come and see any senior leader, we will take action. And that is how we did. 70 staff came to see me or the chief executive. And every week I used to go through complaints, litigation, coroner's feedback, SUI, clinical incidents. That was the governance. So what I did was, if I'm not there, nurse director has to chair it. I wanted everybody to see we work as a team. And consultant immediately realized, nurses loved it. It's all about bringing everybody on. GPs, they helped me to transform. Mental health trust, they helped us. It's all about working together. Leadership is never I. Leadership is all about we. There's a very good African proverb. It takes the whole village to raise a child. Success is when we all work together for a common purpose. Our purpose is our patient.
Super. And how do you sort of see the future of the NHS? You know, I know we're speaking about 10 years' time. Hard to predict, but you know, your thoughts on it would be very interesting.
I think future is bright. I think if we get the leadership right. Leadership is creating magical moment for everybody. That's it. So if we all work together, putting patient at the heart of everything we do, we can completely transform and create one of the best and the safest NHS. Let me tell you, starting point, NHS is one of the best institutions in the world. Let's not make it. Health and social care. It's the best 2 icons. It's the 2 best British inventions. I'm extremely proud of those 2 inventions. And I'm extremely proud of this great country. So the starting point is, we already got 1.3 million hard-working, sincere staff who are highly valued. If we inspire them, motivate them, completely transform health and social care, we can have one of the best, safest health and social care. And let me tell you how we must do it. It took me only 5 years to transform Wigan culture. Number 1, appoint the right leader. Transformation means keep the good old leaders, keep the good old success, build on it, and bring new vision, new dynamism. Number 1, completely transform the leadership, keep the good old leaders, bring some new vision. Number 2, remove the management culture. When I say management, I'm not blaming the managers. I have worked with very hard working managers. Management culture is telling people what to do. Leadership is inspiring, motivating, guiding, helping, supporting. And if you are no good, removing you kindly. In Wigan, I had to dismiss a doctor who told me lies 5 times. He has got a child with disability. That night I didn't sleep because that child is going to suffer. So leader must have kindness, leader must have compassion, leader must feel for everybody. Number 3, digital transformation. I was amazed what I saw in India. Number 4, we must increase the all-due. Elective is the most inefficient in NHS today. Emergency, there are no staff. My son is a doctor. He wanted to be acute medicine. One day he came home and said, Dad, no. When I see how hard the registrar works, I don't want to do it. Same thing happened. As a medical director, 3 emergency medicine registrars have come and cried with me. Acute medicine registrars are very unhappy because one doctor managing 20 sick patients. So what we got to do is we got to completely transform our workforce. We got to use the skill mix, physician associate. That is the way. Doing the same old thing is not going to transform NHS. We got to empower our nurses. We got to make them independent practitioners. But they must take the responsibility. They must take accountability. My colleagues tell me, Umesh, if you make nurses leaders, they come and ask us. It's a misconception. We got to make them independent. I've always said, where there is authority, there must be responsibility, accountability. The biggest danger for society is a leader who has authority but has no accountability, no responsibility. Digital transformation, leadership transformation, cultural transformation. And Brexit is a wake-up call for all of us. I did predict Brexit. I didn't vote for it. But now I'm convinced Brexit is the right way. World is open for us. But we need strong leadership. Fish rots at that. Leaders' job is to unite people. Leaders' job is to bring everybody on board and build this great nation. So what we got is digital transformation. Indian ethos, Indian values, and working together is the way forward. And we can help India, and India can help us. But no doctor from India or no nurse from India should stay here for more than 3 years. We have to create our own workforce.
Why is that?
And let me give you statistics of India. When people talk about India, I always say, which India are you talking about? Rich India? Couldn't care less about middle poor India? Or you are talking about poor India? Even today, 50% of Indians live below poverty line. Let me give you 2 statistics. In India, each year, 500,000 babies are born with brain damage. It costs $1 to prevent those. Number 2, I was shocked when I came to know 80% of poor Indians, when they die of cancer, they don't get painkiller. Imagine if that's you. Imagine that's your mother. So India needs Indian doctors. So what we got to do is bring them, teach them, train them. My special interest is softer skills of being a good doctor. Communication skill, interpersonal skill, and timekeeping skill. For me, being a doctor or being a leader is serving the population. I'm really excited. We've got a fantastic opportunity with Brexit, but we must get everything right. Life is all about being effective and being the good things. I've always told my children, everybody teaches us every day. Many people teach us good things, but some people teach us bad things. What we got to do, we keep on learning good things, keep on building, and we can make this country the greatest country if we get NHS and social care integration.
And how do you sort of see those challenges with social care? Because obviously funding and it comes up quite a lot. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a brilliant question. When I went to meet Simon Still, I met him nearly 5 or 6 times. I think if you look at Simon Still, he's a value-based leader. He smiles, he's confident. And I asked him, let me tell you, many of my friends think he has come to privatize. And I asked him the question, straightforward. And I asked him, Simon, are you going to privatize NHS? His answer was absolutely no, Umesh. The way he said it, I believed him. But I wanted to challenge him. I said, Simon, your background doesn't give me confidence. Every doctor tells me you have come to privatize. And he looked into my eyes. He said, Umesh, my father was a Protestant priest. I saw a lot of poverty when I was growing up. I've come back to NHS because I know health and social care transformation is the right way to do it. And that is absolutely spot on. That is the reason why everybody should look at Devolution Manchester. Health and social care combined budget. £6 billion, and that is a board, and that is the way to do it. But if they don't take doctors and nurses with them, they are not going to transfer. So that is the reason why Simon Stephen wanted me to go to Devolution Manchester and to do what I have done in Wigan. I didn't do it alone, it's done by together. I think we got now very good opportunity. What they got to do is, number 1, they need transformation. Until recently, Simon didn't know what was the money he was getting. Now, Jeremy Hunt, before he stepped down, he made one thing sure, that Simon Stephen has got more money. But we got to make sure that money is not misused. What we got to do is use it properly. Digital transformation, leadership transformation. Number 2, how we are going to inspire our doctors and nurses. That's the 3rd transformation they got to do. Number 4, get the right leaders, right governance. And without open and honest, we are not going to transform. Leadership is all about being honest, being sincere. Integrity means a lot. For me, those things are not for negotiation. But the most important, we need courage to transform.
And are you thinking, with the doctors and the leadership, you talk about doctors being very bright, which they obviously are. Is it sometimes, are you going to look to give them more of an opportunity that if they make a mistake, they can admit a mistake? Because whereas the culture seems to be, you say cover it up or it's an accident or what have you, but give them the opportunity.
Very good question. Very good question once again. If you blame people, if you bully people, if you culture off, then people will not speak up. If you empower them, if you liberate them, if you support them when they speak up. In Wigan, I told all my consultants, please come and tell me when you make a mistake. I will meet the family.
Yeah.
And I put good, open and honest, good governance and duty of character. I used to meet the family myself. And these meetings are not easy.
No.
Let me give you a story. 21-year-old girl was found dead on Boxing Day. 15 mistakes. But it was brought to my attention within 24 hours by consultant and by nurse, and I fully investigated independently. I shared everything with the family, and coroner's court, I broke down. Mother said, don't give warning to the trust, I trust him. Mm-hmm. That meant a lot.
Was to make sure that you learn from those mistakes.
I have met many families in my job as a medical director where things have gone wrong, including the 12-year-old girl who developed brain damage. When I met the mother just hugged me. And she said, Dr. Prabhu, I love your honesty. As if she didn't expect me to be honest. But she didn't ask me whom you are going to dismiss. She never even asked me. Mm-hmm. Because if you are honest with the family, even if doctors have made mistakes, I have not met a family who wants doctor to be silent. When I was medical director of Berry, a 6-month-old child died of meningitis in my hand. Junior doctor has sent the child home when he shouldn't have sent. Nurse told him not to send the child home. In spite of the child was sent home. That mother, I cried. I told her, I can't bring your child back. But I'll make sure no other mother goes through what I'm doing. I asked her, what do you want me to do with the doctor? If I refer him to GMC, they will destroy us. She said, Dr. Prabhu, you sound a nice man. If you think you shouldn't do it, please don't do it. But make sure no other mother goes through what I'm going through. That's a big responsibility. Mm-hmm. So all I did was, I gave a warning to the doctor, final warning, put 6 systems in place. But I made the doctor meet the mother. And it completely changed him as a human being. He saw her crying with the pain. And he realized what he had done to her. He became one of the safest doctors, and he is now a successful GP in Delhi. So what we need is early feedback to the doctors. Mm-hmm. What we got to focus on preventing crisis. Babagar, I went to the trust. That tragedy should have been prevented. We have not done justice to Jack Alpha, the child who died, nor to Babagar. But that department had consultants infighting, not getting on very well. There were no good systems. In Wigan, we had escalation policy. In Wigan, we had empowered our nursing staff. In Wigan, junior doctors had direct access to me. And those are the things we put in place. It is just simple common sense. Unfortunately, common sense is not that common.
Yeah, and sometimes it's difficult for doctors with their training and what have you. You kind of seen as the doctor to know everything. And humans are all fallible.
What we do is we teach doctors independently. We teach them to be independent. But we don't teach them being kind, being compassionate. Many of us learn communication skill, interpersonal skill. What we got to look at training together, doctors, nurses. In Wigan, all we did was appointed right leader in the first place. Number 2, we trained multi-professional, 8 days training. And that is important. Simon Stephen asked Umesh, what do you want to do? I said, Simon, I'm 63. What I want to do is train doctors to be good leaders, train nurses, and at the same time, be a patient safety champion. So all we did was appointed right leaders, provided right training, and this training included everything. Number 1, impact of my behavior on others, the first thing. Number 2, how do we create a positive energy, being kind to each other, giving feedback, giving positive energy, giving a lot of positive things. Number 2. Number 3, good governance. Number 4, patient safety, getting it right. Number 5, dealing with difficult colleagues, difficult situation. Number 6, finance. Number 7, HR matters. Number 8, looking after yourself and developing resilience. That is the training we provide. We don't teach doctors to be leaders. We teach them to be managers.
I think what I like to hear is about the state of looking after yourself. Because I think sometimes we don't think about the mental health and also the care of our nurses and doctors, because they're at the forefront of it all the time, the pressure they're under, and they're still human. And we don't look at that sometimes.
One second, wonderful question. Let me tell you statistics. If you look at all the published evidence, nearly 25 to 30% of staff are feeling stressed. Junior doctor survey in GMC, 25 to 30%. It happens not because bad doctors, bad nurses, because they work under very stressful circumstances. Things can go wrong. My daughter just delivered. My wife has not slept for 2 days. Because anything could go wrong. As a pediatrician, my interest was brain damaged babies. And that's what I was worried, because day in and day out, that's the reason why we got to care for our nurses. We got to care for our staff. We got to create kind and caring culture. And I'm pretty confident we can make our NHS safest and the best. And that is the legacy I want to leave. And that's the time I want to retire.
I've no doubt you will. Dr. Umesh, where can we find you? I know you're on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter, I started tweeting because nobody.
Yeah. No.
Now that I got 24,000 followers, I love tweeting.
Could you let our nurses know where they can find you? You're very entertaining on there, I know that.
My Twitter handle is Dr. Umesh Prabhu. You know, I love NHS. I tweet good, the bad, the ugly about NHS. Let us work together. Let's make our NHS one of the safest and the best and the greatest asset for all of us, so that it lasts for another 17 years.
I think all of us share the same thing. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to all our nurses, our healthcare workers, our doctors, and thank you for all the support you give us looking after us all.